in the next day to the OP room, and I was sedated, but I think it was like 8 hours operation. That was really complicated, and after it, I stood mostly the first week in bed. I couldn't move the hand. My hand, it had to stay in this position, so the stitches won't blow away. But right after that, I began physiotherapy, and mostly how I recover my movements were by physiotherapy. Don't fool yourself. If you have an injury, okay, there are some exercises that you can do at home. I did those too, but you need to have a physiotherapist accompanying you. Otherwise, it won't be properly done, and that was the main thing. I was lucky enough to be operated by a surgeon that was a hand specialist, and he was also a musician. He's a pianist, and so he kind of understood what I was feeling about losing the movements of my hand. Well, and then I went to his clinic where he had two partners, two physiotherapists that accompanied me through this whole process. So I began physiotherapy in 1 or 2 weeks after the accident. You have to wait a while before you begin exercising the hand. And it was essential. At first, I couldn't move any finger at all. I couldn't grab a glass of water or anything. But after a while, I was able to move my thumb. First was the thumb, then the index and middle finger. The fingers that were most injured was the ring finger and the little finger, pinky. And the movement that was the other hand, but the mainly movement, the hardest movement to get back is this one. That I can do in my left hand. Really, really, really almost nothing. But that's it. I went to physiotherapy from 4 to 6 hours every day, from Monday to Friday. In the weekends, I would do exercises at home. I bought, better said, my father bought to me this machine that gives you shocks. You put those electrodes in your hand in specific places, and will stimulate the growth of your synapses. And that's it. For almost a year I do that, and the only reason why I didn't get all the movements back, even this one, is because at the end I was so exhausted about everything, because I was doing prep school for the university, because I wasn't sure if I would be able to play again. Then I decided that I have to go to college, that I had to study something, so I can make a living. Everything was uncertain, and well, Then I was doing physiotherapy in the morning, and I would go straight to prep school. At the time in Brazil, if you want to go to college, you have to take a test for this college, for this specific college. It doesn't matter the grades that you had in school. What mattered at the time were the grades you had in this test for the college, in the college. You take the test in the college. And so most of the people, or a lot of people, went to this prep school so you can prepare yourself for the hard tests that are about to come. And then that was my life. I was like, in the morning, physiotherapy, straight to the prep school without even eating something, and then 7 hours of prep school. Well, that went for like 6 months, and I passed it. I went to study journalism in Belo Horizonte, where I lived. The second half of this year, I started studying journalism. I was going to college in the morning and going to physiotherapy afternoons. Well, college is a crazy time, folks. And it was a lot going on, and I was like tired of this, all this routine with the physiotherapy. I was already playing it. I was able to play some things, and I thought that I would recover all the movements, all the movements that I didn't have by just playing. That was a stupid move. The physiotherapist told me that wouldn't happen. That I have to remain in physiotherapy because there were other things that I had to do, but not only move the fingers in a fretboard. Well, I stood for a while in the physiotherapy, but started not going. And after like 9 months, it seemed okay at the time. I was experimenting a different life, college life, party, everything. And that's when I left. And that's the reason why today I don't have all the movements. So trust me, if you have an injury, listen to your doctor and do what you're supposed to do until the end if you want to have a real recovery. I learned the hard way. I still pay the price for it, but I'm still here and I'm still trying. And I still believe. As I started to play, I couldn't move all the fingers, so I was mostly playing things with these 2 fingers only. I heard about this guitarist, Django Reinhardt, and someone told me, yeah, he's a jazz guitarist, gypsy jazz guitarist, and he only played with 2 fingers because he had an accident and burned the hand and couldn't move exactly the pinky and ring finger. So I kind of was inspired by that story. I didn't know the music at all. At the time, there was no internet. Wow, that sounds like ages ago. There was no internet. So it wasn't so easy to find find the music, some kinds of music, so I couldn't hear anything from him. I just heard the story and I thought, wow, if this guy did that for the love of music, yeah, maybe I can do it too. And I started playing with only 2 fingers, adapting. I have to improvise a lot. At some point, as I started to recover this grab movement from the other fingers, I started putting back the other fingers and the fretboard and trying and everything. Right after that, I recorded with my band another demo, and it was called After Chaos. And that was an important move for me to play again and to talk about those things that I went through. You know, that was some crazy times. I was like completely lost and trying to find my way. I went to journalism. I quit journalism after 1.5 years mostly because I realized that wasn't for me. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play the guitar. Well, that's mostly it.